nutrition and dietetics, theater technology, medical engineering, applied biology, science laboratory and health records, and many more are reality.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
And Lamin Kamara with his first career goal.
Ni muda wa kuhesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
Leo ni moto sana, and for me, I'm Team Harambee Stars. So my team, I will always support it, and I believe leo mabao 2-1 hivi Harambee Stars mbele.
Leo saa moja hiyo game nayo itakuwa tough sana. Juu Angola tukiona wakicheza na Morocco, tuliona pia wako fiti tactically na predict tutashinda hiyo game hata kama ni 1-0 ya uchungu.
Today najua kocha shapanga mambo yake na zile loopholes ameziba na mambo itakuwa poa na tutatoka na ushindi. 1-0 si mbaya sana. Si naenda tu clean sheet.
Introducing Duracoat Aquatec Clean Shield, Kenya's fast tintable waterproofing paint.
The land of Harambee, tunainuka pamoja.
Tanzania is ready, nguvu ni moja.
Pearl of Africa, welcome everyone.
The young generation awakens on Y24, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture.
Different trends, sports,
drama. We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Elimu ni taa, gizani uzaga.
Elimu ni bahari isiyokauka zinge.
Karibu katika sanaa ya Kiswahili, bahari yenye kina kirefu.
Sote tumeandika, hii kweli ni balaa.
Bila shaka tunazama na tukiibuka vipaji, talanta mbalimbali ndani ya sanaa ya Kiswahili.
Nina neno kwa vijana, mihadarati na pombe, bila madhara mabaya.
Kuna bunge la mwanafunzi, uchambuzi wa vitabu na kulizamia swala zima la fasihi.
Mchimba shimo huingia mwenyewe.
Kwa hivyo unasoma dondoo, alafu unabaini ni fani gani ambayo tunajitokeza.
Ipate chemsha bongo bila tafadhali wala kibali.
Na si hayo tu mtazamaji.
Kumbuka, ni sanaa ya kipekee. Tuchangamkie Kiswahili,
tufurahie sanaa.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
Praise the Lord. My name is Pastor Tim Wangi, and I want to invite you for a life-changing, transformative show.
I was blinded and thrown to the floor on my knees, just like Saul.
Conversations. Gen Z ni nani? E-boldness mnatoa wapi?
Kuna mentality fulani yenye inakujenga, si a rebellion really, but ni ya ku-question system.
Engagements that are life-changing and provocative.
When you are young, your core business should be to create value in yourself.
Join me, DJ Andy C, bringing to you Kingdom Vibe, full of gospel bangers.
Join us for Angaza Show.
Every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Only on KBC Channel.
The land of Harambee, tunainuka pamoja.
Tanzania is ready, nguvu ni moja.
Pearl of Africa, welcome everyone.
carrying the hope of a nation and, of course, delivering on that mandate. Harambee Stars tonight, of course, doing the nation proud by collecting that one very important point. And the next match is going to be big and better. And we are hoping that Harambee Stars will definitely deliver that much desired win. Good evening and thank you very much for joining us. This is the Prime Edition with me, O'Brien Kimani. You're watching us live from Broadcasting House. And of course, we are the host broadcaster for the ongoing CHAN Championships, which started on the 3rd. And of course, it's going all the way up to the end of this month. My name is O'Brien Kimani. And of course, tonight, we have a fully loaded bulletin, which of course will be going to all the counties and of course jumping from general news, sports, as well as business news. I told you my name is O'Brien Kimani. At O'Brien Kimani is my Twitter handle, and of course at KBC Channel 1 is our Twitter handle. We start off this bulletin on a sad note where 6 people have died in a tragic crash in Mwehoko, Roiro, Kiambu County after an aircraft crashed at a residential building. Among those killed included 2 doctors, 2 nurses and 2 civilians who were inside a residential house when the chopper landed. Aviation authorities have confirmed the plane had departed Wilson Airport en route to Hargeisa in Somaliland around 2 p.m. with 4 people on board. Contact was lost just 11 minutes after takeoff, moments before the aircraft reportedly caught fire mid-air and descended in the densely populated residential area. 2 survivors, a man and a young child, were pulled from the rubble and rushed to hospital. The Aircraft Accident Investigations Department dispatched a team to the site with preliminary reports pointing to a possible mechanical failure or onboard fire.
Kana ndege ikikuja ikaanza kubimbirika ikabimbirika and then alafu ikaanguka. After ilianguka ikalipuka mlipuko mkubwa sana, moshi ilikuwa mingi ikakava sky.
Imeangukia nyumba, watu walikuwa ndani, kuna watoto walikuwa huko ndani, watu wakaanza kupiga nduru. Pia watu wakaanza kupoesha moto.
Tulikuwa wengi, kufika hapa ni moshi tu ilikuwa. Then tumepatana tu na mabaki.
Tukapata vidole kwa juu ya fence kwa boma ya mtu, vidole 4, alafu tukapata mwili metapaka kila mahali, na ndio maafisa wakakuja nao wanajeshi wakakuja.
Kufika hapa ndio tunaona kuna wengine wanasaidia save watu, but maybe it was too late kwa sababu ukiangalia vizuri sana sana hata uwezi recognize kama kuna mtu mwenye amebaki.
A very unfortunate incident there in Roiro, sub-county of Kiambu County. But the National Treasury now says not a single coin has been lost through the e-Citizen platform. Treasury Principal Secretary Chris Kiptoo says the platform is fully owned and controlled by the government and no third party has access to the back end of the payment platform. The PS was appearing before the National Assembly Public Accounts Committee, which is probing the e-Citizen platform following a report by the Office of the Auditor General saying the state-owned payment platform has lost billions of shillings through illegal withdrawals.
Days after the Auditor General Nancy Gathungu pointed out the possible loss of 11 billion shillings of public coffers in a special audit conducted on the e-Citizen platform in March 2025.
The e-Citizen platform is owned by the Government of Kenya as guided by the Handover Agreement.
On Thursday, the Principal Secretary for Treasury, Dr. Chris Kiptoo, ICT's John Tenui, and Bello Kipsang of Immigration appeared before the Public Accounts Committee to deny the damning Nancy Gathungu report.
I want to assure Kenyans from 2023 up to onwards, there is no money that has been lost, to my knowledge. But we are subject to audit.
PS Kiptoo pointed an accusing finger at the Auditor General for tabling the report without sharing it with the state departments that are running the platform. However, the auditor revealed that they shared the report with the PS.
I wish also we had the chance to discuss this audit report with the auditor, because there are things here that we also feel we could have provided. This is the disadvantage of a special audit.
Before we finalize an audit,
we have an exit meeting. And the PS was present, that meeting where I attended. We gave a management letter. We have his responses. And I can even go on record here and say there are some responses here that are contradicting the submission he has made today.
The PS stated that the e-Citizen platform is fully owned by the government and the data is also secured and hosted by the National Treasury. The Auditor General Nancy Gathungu had flagged irregular transactions worth 11 billion shillings, warning that the systems expose the public funds to fraud, misappropriation and revenue leakages.
Despite the successes of e-Citizen platform, we acknowledge that there are challenges which the government of Kenya is addressing on a continuous basis to ensure that the gains made on digital payments are sustained and not eroded.
The members of the committee, who had initially termed the platform a crime scene of monumental proportion, stated that they will assess the response of the PSs and recommend on the fate of the said platform. Since the platform's inception in 2014 to June 2025, the state has collected 360 billion shillings. Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
And elsewhere, Kenya's gambling industries fought for a major shake-up after President William Ruto signed into law the Gambling Control Bill. The bill introduces sweeping reforms that will regulate betting with the establishment of the Gambling Regulatory Authority. Gambling operators will now be taxed 15% of their gross revenue, which will be channeled to the Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund.
The Gambling Control Bill, sponsored by Majority Leader Kimani and now assented to by President Ruto, establishes Gambling Regulatory Authority that will now be in charge of licensing and monitoring gambling activities. The authority will work closely with the taxman, the Kenya Revenue Authority, to ensure gambling operators are tax compliant. The operators will henceforth be subjected to a 15% tax on gross revenue that will be channeled to the Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund.
Nyinyi mnaelewa ya kwamba tumekuwa na tatizo kubwa katika taifa letu la Kenya kwa mchezo huo. Watu wengi wanapoteza mali yao, wengine wanaingia kwa matatizo, mpaka wengine wanapata matatizo ya afya, wengine wanapata depression kwa sababu wameliwa pesa zao. Na nimeambiwa pia wanabodaboda wengi wakati wakingojea wale wateja wako pale kwa gambling wanafanya hiyo.
Largely blamed for increased social vices including addiction and depression, the new law outlines strict licensing, advertising limits and self-exclusion measures. The President further appended his signature to the Kenya Roads Amendment Act 2025. The new law amends the Kenya Roads Act and the Kenya Roads Board Act to standardize the term of office for Director Generals at KERA, KURA, KENHA and the Kenya Roads Board. Respective DGs will serve a 3-year term, renewable once, which now mirrors the governance structure in the Mwongozo Code of Governance. John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
From the State House to the forest, where the Kenya Forest Service has assured Kenyans that the Karura Forest boundary is intact. Chief Conservator of Forest, Alex Lamar Koko, who spoke on Thursday during a familiarization tour of the instruments, including electric fencing and strict surveillance, to ensure the boundary integrity that was proclaimed in 1932 remains intact. Noting a shift in the natural region, CF said the service will seek legal redress in the corridors of justice.
Has the capacity and the capability to go around the existing instruments. But because we have a matter in court, I will not talk about the particular issue that was raised, so that I don't jeopardize the court process. The entire Karura Forest is fenced, save for the area that is along the natural boundary, which is the river and the river valleys. And the river valleys form the natural boundaries, and we have also, so we have not fenced that area.
And 4.6 billion shillings has now been disbursed for payment to 1.1 million older persons and persons with severe disabilities enrolled in the Inua Jamii program. Speaking during a press briefing on the June-July disbursement, Social Protection and Senior Citizens Affairs Principal Secretary Joseph Motari says the June cycle payment had been delayed due to a data cleanup exercise, a move to ensure that the money gets to the right beneficiaries. Motari further noting that the disbursement covers for both June and July 2025 payment cycles, with which beneficiary expected to receive 4,000 shillings. The beneficiaries have also been challenged to use their stipends to register with the Social Health Authority to access affordable and quality health care.
The disbursement covers the stipends for both the June and July 2025 payment cycle. Each beneficiary will receive, of course, 4,000, this being an arrears of from June to July, representing 2,000 per month for the 2 months payments commenced today. The June cycle payment had been delayed due to a data cleanup exercise that the State Department, and then therefore we as a State Department apologize to the beneficiaries for any inconvenience caused by this delay.
Elsewhere, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has warned against illegal acts of trafficking children for sexual exploitation. This comes after a child trafficking syndicate operating in Mai Mahiu, Nakuru County, was exposed. The CS who spoke in Kericho County during the 25th Jukwaa la Usalama County Security Tour said a special team from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations had been deployed to investigate and apprehend the suspects in Mai Mahiu. This, as he said, a crackdown on child trafficking criminals that has commended in all parts of the county.
On persons, including adults, including children, with the intent committing sexual abuse on them, as some of which was reported recently in BBC documentary. That has been a challenge we have been confronting, and we need to do it even in a larger scale. And we think that the department that is dealing with anti-narcotics can be strengthened and widened to make sure that it deals also with sex trafficking in persons, including children, so that because that's very high crime. And I have said before that trafficking in persons is a big problem globally, and our country faces this challenge internally, but also as a route that is used to traffic people from neighboring countries. And we have been confronting these challenges, sometimes very expensive because you have to return these people back to their country.
Well, calls for the county and national governments to allocate more funds in climate action initiatives resonated during the precursor of the first annual Kenya National Youth Climate Action Innovation Summit held in Nairobi. Stakeholders in the climate sector noted there is a need for concerted efforts to address impacts of climate change on environmental, social, as well as economic systems in the country. They also championed efforts on greening Kenya, supporting the government agenda of planting 15 billion trees by the year 2032. The theme of this year's summit is strengthening the capacity, voice, and civic engagement of youth on environmental protection, adaptation, as well as climate action.
As WeWorld, we are devoted to support Kenyan youths, even to COP30 in Belém, Brazil. And we are glad that the Kenya Climate Action Council, Youth Action Council, they are here supporting the theme and pushing the agenda hard so that we can have youth representation in COP30, which is coming up in Belém.
What this event aims to lead up to is a declaration on where the young people stand in terms of climate action. This is a declaration we are going to use for advocacy moving forward. The first point of advocacy is the devolution conference, which is next week.
I was seated on the steering committee that assisted develop the gender action plan that is currently going to inform the counties on their action plans that they are going to be enrolling. So gender will be at the center of it, and at least women will get to be at the table when climate change is being discussed.
We have noted that the youth representation is always provided for on paper, but on the ground you find that these positions of the youth are not actually held by the youth.
We want genuine inclusion when it comes to programs to do with climate change. We need to transition away from tokenistic youth participation, and we need to have direct access to funds.
Well, you're watching the Prime Edition with me, O'Brien Kimani. I mean, just remember that the Kenya Broadcasting House is the broadcaster or the official broadcaster of the African Nations Championship. And just like 45 minutes ago, we have seen a sterling performance by Harambee Stars, where they have managed to hold Angola 1-1, despite the fact that they were one man down. Well, we still got more matches coming up right here on KBC Channel 1. And of course, we're taking a short break, and thereafter we're coming back with more stories. Stay right here.
And Lamin Kamara with his first career goal.
Ni muda wa kuhesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani uzuri, David!
Michuano ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
In the name of Jesus Christ, Mungu anatarajia ukanyange hatua mbele. Wengine wametawaliwa na uchawi, wakati wao umefika. Wewe umenitazama siku ya leo. Neema na kibali cha Bwana kikawe juu ya maisha yako.
Praise the Lord. My name is Pastor Tim Mwangi, and I want to invite you for a life-changing, transformative show.
I was blinded and thrown to the floor on my knees, just like Saul.
Conversations. Gen Z ni nani? E-boldness. Mnatoa wapi?
Kuna mentality fulani yenye inakujenga. Si a rebellion really, but ni ya kuquestion system.
Engagements that are life-changing and provocative.
When you are young, your core business should be to create value in yourself.
Join me, DJ Andy C, bringing to you Kingdom Vibe, full of gospel bangers.
Join us for Angaza Show.
Every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Only on One.
Kuna wakati inafika ana bleed. Sasa anasema sasa hizo imefika na huku ndani, sasa anaumwa hata na masikio.
headache, masikio.
Hii kesi iko hivi na anahitaji pesa za hospitali.
Lia katoto hakuna chakula ya ukura. Lia kana hakuna kuenda sambani. Hakuna hata urangeti. Akina nakaa iko kwa wao. Hata shughuli hakuna Mungu mmoja. Iko njaa. Inakaa nyumbani, naenda sambani, naenda kwenda sambani, iko mgonjwa. Akina teseka.
Let's do this.
Harambee Stars manze wanafanya kitu poa. Na hiyo mita by the way, hiyo mita inawapea motivation fit sana. Na prediction yangu kwa game ya leo, najua watajituma 1-0 ama 0-0. Kitu kama hiyo, lakini 0-0 500k Treasury alisema. Washinde 1-0, hiyo ni mita. Alafu Austin Odhiambo manze big up.
Mbona game ya Harambee Stars iko poa na mimi niko na hopes this pia tunaweza shinda hii game inakam. Juu game wameperform poa, players wako motivated, kila kitu iko tu poa. Mimi naona tukichapa Angola yani Kenya iko hatubatishi, tutaichapa.
Ukikosa utachoma. Introducing Duracote Aquatec Credential, Kenya's first tintable waterproofing paint.
Kila mwisho wa juma hapa katika runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 tunakuletea Mkulima.
Mkulima ni kipindi cha kila mtu. Mkulima mdogo, mkubwa, mnunuzi, muuzaji na pia anayenuia kuanza kilimo.
Kuanzia kwa mbinu bora na za kisasa za kilimo, ufugaji,
kukupa fursa za biashara, kuongeza dhamana hadi teknolojia zinazorahisisha kilimo.
Mkulima kisasa inakupa wewe maarifa, motisha na suluhu za kukuza mazao,
kuongeza kipato na pia kulisha taifa kwa jumla.
Tunafeed nchi, tunafeed watoto wetu na tunafeed Europa na tunaweka pesa mfukoni.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30
kwenye runinga ya taifa.
Mkulima, tuko hapa kwa ajili yako,
ambapo fursa na kilimo zinapatana.
You're watching the Prime Edition live from our national headquarters here in Nairobi. A group of Matatu Sacco owners in Migori County are raising concerns over alleged extortion by county government officers. The PSV operators decried despite reaching an agreement with the county government regarding license fees. Some rogue officers are still demanding for daily payment in order to allow them to operate. And the Consolata tournament has officially kicked off at the Alomamano grounds in Marelo town, where 42 teams from Samburu County are expected to participate. These and more stories in our county news roundup.
During the launch of the tournament, the county's sport, gender and youth CEC Evelyn Lentano urged players to uphold high levels of discipline.
Wasitu vijana wetu wakuwe na nidhamu, wacheze wakipendana, waonyeshe talanta zao.
Meanwhile, in Migori County, a group of Matatu Sacco owners are raising concerns over alleged extortion by county government officers. The PSV operators said despite reaching an agreement with the county government regarding license fees, some rogue officers are still demanding for daily payments in order to allow them to operate.
Sisi tulikataa mambo ya corruption. Hiyo gari yetu inashikwa kila mara. Na kishikwa wanataka 10,000, wanataka 3,500 bila receipt.
In Garissa County Commissioner Mohamed Mwabudzo has sounded the alarm over human trafficking, warning families not to fall prey to traffickers who are luring young people with false promises of a better life.
Yeyote atakaye kuja kwenu na kuahidi kwamba atampeleka mtoto wako ama kijana, ukifuatwa na mtu haumjui ama unamjua, na kikuahidi kwamba atakupeleka upate kazi na kupitia Libya na nchi zingine, tafadhali utujulishe.
The government has issued a stern warning against those flouting the directive not to transport learners in the country between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Basic Education Principal Secretary Julius Bitok says action will be taken against schools found in flouting the rules and risking the lives of learners.
We have a 6 to 6 rule on our transport of our children. And I want to call upon all the drivers, all the stakeholders, let us stick to the rules.
In Kilifi County, the county government of Kilifi has confirmed that it is finalizing the plan to take over Malindi and Watamu Marine Parks from the management of the Kenya Wildlife Services by the end of this year. The move is aimed at enhancing job opportunities for locals.
Nilikuwa nayo hapa kwa Marine Park. Tutatatua hapa nyumbani kwa sababu sisi Marine Park maofisa wa warden wa Watamu atakuwa mtu wetu, warden wa Malindi atakuwa mtu wetu.
Legislators drawn from different counties expressed deep concern over the increasing cases of gender-based violence in Busia County. The leaders condemned perpetrators of GBV, describing such actions as outdated, demeaning, and a threat to the dignity and rights of affected individuals, particularly women and girls.
Lazima tukae chonjo, and I'm asking the IG, the DCI, and the police, please, we need you to do more on GBV.
And in Kwale County, the county government has donated 2 modern equipment to fishermen and marine workers in a bid to boost the fishing sector and blue economy in the area.
Sasa hivi kwa jumla hapo Tiwi tumeweza kupeana boats 4 za mashine. Wako na mafriza, kundi moja na friza 3.
Finally, a women's right lobby is demanding the closure of agencies accused of luring Kenyans into exploitative overseas job. The organization is now urging the Labor and Foreign Affairs ministries to investigate and regulate recruitment firms in the country.
Visa vingi vya watoto kuenda kufanya kazi wanadhulumiwa, wengine wanakufa, kuja inakuwa ni shida, wengine wanapotea.
Boniface Kasiva for Prime Edition.
Let's now turn our focus on to the business world, where the government is set to roll out a comprehensive survey aimed at identifying micro, small and medium-sized enterprises and the sectors they operate in. The findings will help shape targeted interventions and improve the policy environment for small businesses. MSME's Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya says the initiative will support the creation of more enabling environment that helps traders to commercialize their products, access financing and expand into regional markets.
Access to the market is one of what we are going to do to make sure that this market of the East African community of 300 million people we are able to access, despite, of course, some of the barriers being created by some of our partner states. But we are hopeful that the government is engaging so that some of those barriers are removed.
I've seen great innovation, but like we've said, it must be innovation that can be taken to the market, commercialization of those innovations. So
Kenya is one of the best in manufacturing, and it always banks the first awards. Tanzania is very good with batiks and textiles. Uganda is very good with cow horns and gift items. Rwanda is the best in artifacts. Burundi is now giving Kenya some competition on woodwork and furniture. As you know, DRC has come into the picture. Somalia has come into play. So it's a very exciting moment.
Elsewhere, Consolidated Bank has bounced back into profitability after posting 21.6 million shillings in net profit during the first 6 months of this year, up from a loss of 76.8 million shillings the lender registered during a similar period in 2024. The profit after tax after a year of losses was mainly powered by net interest income that grew to 21% to 551 million shillings. In addition Total operating expenses reduced 4% to 812 million shillings, driven by implementation of strategic initiatives, cost containment measures, and improved operational efficiencies. Consolidated Bank Chief Executive Officer Sam Muturi says the lender will continue building on the strategic initiatives undertaken over the last 3 years to diversify revenue sources and grow the balance sheet. Still on banking results, where Stanbic Holdings has recorded a 9.3% drop in half-year net profit to 6.5 billion shillings due to lower interest income and higher operating expenses. Despite the reduced profit, Stanbic Holdings has increased its interim dividend payout to 3 shillings and 80 cents per share, up from 1 shillings and 84 cents per share paid out last year.
Costs went up 9%, a fair balance between staff costs and of other costs or other operating costs. Impairment remained largely flat, actually came down about 6% in the quarter, and is at industry level. And that leads you to almost a flat performance in terms of profitability in the industry in the first quarter.
At this point in time, based on the data that we have, we felt very comfortable that this is the right dividend to pay out to our shareholders.
Lots of growth, we are seeing that in manufacturing largely, we are seeing that in agriculture, we are seeing part of that coming into construction, and you've seen the government bringing in an impetus of paying pending bills. So we're actually in an exciting position in quarter 2 compared to quarter 1.
Elsewhere, Kenya is tapping culinary diversity and the growing appeal of agro-tourism to redefine its hospitality offerings for tourists. Speakers at the 3rd edition of the Africa Food Show highlighted the interconnection between food travel and lifestyle economies, noting that through innovative partnerships and digital solutions, Kenya can build sustainable tourism models that position Africa more prominently on the global tourism map. To this end, the Kenya Tourism Board has launched a new Pan-African campaign aimed at positioning the country as a premier destination for food and cultural experiences. The campaign is expected to boost intra-African travel and help Kenya achieve its target of 5.5 million tourist arrivals.
Travel is key, and it's what makes and creates an opportunity for the destination and also for growth in employment.
It's exciting to market Kenya to Africa because we realize in the past we've been focusing probably on the Americas, on the Europe, Asia, but we realize we have a very big potential tourists that will gladly come to Kenya.
So Africa Food Show is the 3rd edition here in Kenya. The show has been growing steadily over the past 3 years, and this year we attracted more participation from international, globally. To mention a few, we have from China, we have from Spain, from Congo, from Italy, from India, to name a few.
I encourage all of you to engage with one another, exchange ideas, and explore the wealth of knowledge that this event has to offer. Let us celebrate the talent and creativity within our industries and work together to elevate Africa's position on the global culinary and hospitality stage.
Rice farmers in Busia County have embraced dryland rice farming to boost food security and mitigate climate change. The varieties are suited for dry conditions and have low fertilizer demand. Alana Oko with the details.
Unapopanda mahindi gunia, kama umeenda sana gunia kwa weka, pengine itakupatia gunia 7 ama 8. Na mchele umepanda vizuri kwa njia mzuri, itakupatia gunia 28, 25.
Na hii mchele unaweza ipandia ile mbolea ya organic ama manyua hii ya ng'ombe. Sasa ukishapanda hivyo, unapalilia mara ya kwanza, unamwagia mbolea, unapalia mara ya pili, sasa unaiachilia ianze kazi yake yenyewe sasa kufanya kazi kuu.
Ukiangalia penye tumepanda, upande penye tulikuwa na mbolea mingi, unapata like hata haijafanya vizuri sana. Lakini pahali penye hakuna mbolea ndio unapanda, it's a very hardy crop. ambapo inafanya vizuri sana.
Ombi langu tu ni kwa ajili ya Butula sub county, naomba tu tuletewe hata sisi pia mashini hapa karibu.
Well, I told you that you're watching us from our national headquarters, and remember, Chan iko KBC, which is one of the biggest sporting events in Africa, and of course drawing billions of people in terms of viewership. And remember, there's always opportunity for you to partner with Kenya Broadcasting Corporation and become part of this great movement. I mean, the sports business, the business of sports is coming up next with Okumu, the man. He'll be taking us through the sporting event and of course giving us more updates on the matches that are ahead of us. And I'll be engaging him for some few minutes just to find out a few things. So stay right here.
To you children, you are special as you are in the eyes of Jesus.
Yes, indeed, and very good evening. Welcome to Channel 1 Sports. I'm Bernardo Kumu. And let's begin with the latest, where 10-man Harambee Stars came from a goal down to draw with Angola 1-1 in their second Pool A match of the 2024 African Nations Championship played earlier at the Kasarani International Stadium here in Nairobi. The 1 point moves Stars top of Group A with 4 points, 1 point above their closest challengers, Morocco and DRC, who sit third on the table. Harambee Stars will next play Morocco on Sunday afternoon at the Kasarani Stadium.
The two coaches of the two sides have not made much changes, but probably the change on the Kenyan side is the most significant one. Even as they get on to walk onto the field, the fans expect that if there's one thing that the Kenyan side will say they have today, it's again the benefit of an almost full to capacity stadium. Quite unexpectedly during the week, here is a turn, putting it onto the left footer. It's beaten. Angola will draw the first blood. And it is Joaquin Palencia still trying to get Edward onto the ball, who turns it back. Oh well, the referee says nothing doing here. And then Austin Odhiambo was turning, had a chance to go as the top scorer puts it in the net. Austin Odhiambo again for Kenya's Harambee Stars. For that draw, that gives them 4 points. DR Congo have 3 points. So Harambee Stars go top of this group again with 4 points.
And to Harambee Stars and head coach Benny McCarthy there, depending on VAR. You know, first it was that awarded them the penalty that they did score from, and of course disallowing that particular goal that was scored late in the game by Angola. They face Morocco on Sunday, as earlier mentioned. Moving on, Democratic Republic of Congo recorded their first win at the 2024 African Nations Championship CHAN by beating Zambia by 2-0 earlier this evening at the Nyayo National Stadium. Ibrahim Matobo and Hoso Mwaku scored a goal each in the second half to guide DRC to the much-deserved victory over Zambia, who are playing their first match of the tournament. The win moves them on equal points with Morocco, who are on 3, and they will play their second game on Sunday against Kenya's Harambee Stars. That's face Angola on Sunday, while DRC will battle, of course, Burkina Faso, or rather will battle Angola on Thursday next week. The Africa Nations Championship matches are being broadcast live on KBC Channel 1 and KBC radio stations.
Second goal, and it's struck home by Hoso Mwaku. This doubles signals the Congolese advantage. Kabwe teed it up.
Mimi shabiki wa Kenya, lakini leo nimependa game ya DRC. Na nikiangalia venye wanaenda wanaweza fika finali. Wako na game tamu sana.
Game ya Kenya watu walikuwa kwao na president alikuwa hapo. Hatukupenda tuwapatishe haya, lakini tulifanya hivyo tu kupea president respect. Lakini sasa hii tumeanza kazi kama vile inafaa.
Kuna malalamishi tuko nayo tu kidogo kwa sababu ya upande wa maji hairuhusiwi kuingia kwa uwanja. Ni mara ya kwanza tuone kitu kama hii. Huyu wakati mwingine yuko kwingine place nyingine tulikuwa tunacheza hakukuwa na kitu kama hiyo, maji yakatazwa, lakini hii CHAN maji imekatazwa, watoto wamekufa njaa kwa uwanja. Hiyo kitu bado hatatufurahisha.
Ilikuwa mzuri sana, ilikuwa mzuri match. Sisi wa Kongo tunafurahi sana na tunayaza 2-0.
The experience has been really good. I cannot complain. Actually, Kenya feels like home. We have so much similarities, so I wouldn't complain.
Match was so perfect, but we're just looking forward to another win. We haven't lost. This was just the beginning. I'm not accepting.
And of course, the reactions from the earlier game between Democratic Republic of Congo against Zambia, and the fans expressing their post-match views there. Moving on, Kenya will host the third edition of the Africa School Games in 2029 after being awarded the hosting rights at an executive committee meeting of the Association of National Olympics Committees of Africa, ANOCA. Now, ANOCA President Mustafa Beraf confirmed the decision, citing Kenya's demonstrated capacity, government backing and commitment to youth development in sports. Meanwhile, the Kenya under-20 women's volleyball team defeated neighbors Uganda by 3 straight sets of 25-14, 25-16, 25-15 as the Africa Volleyball Under-20 Championship entered the third day in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Kenya had on Tuesday night succumbed to hosts Cameroon's 3-1 of 25-18, 18-25, 19-25, 25-27 in the second match of the week-long event, which is also a qualifier for the World Championship later next year. The East Africans had beaten Senegal by 3 sets to 0 in their opening match. And GSU's men's volleyball team head coach Gideon Tarus was today named the SJA Coach of the month of July. Tarus guided GSU to reclaiming the Kenya Volleyball Federation National League title last month at the Kasarani Indoor Arena, adding to the title they won in 2023. On their way to the title, GSU beat Kapu in the quarterfinals on 6th July before making light work of Kenya Prisons in the semis on 12th of July. They rallied from a 2-set deficit to beat KDF 3-2 in the final on 13th of July. To win the July trophy, Coach Tarus beat volleyball coach Jafet Munala and rugby coach Willis Ojal, who are also in contention for the July trophy. And of course, that does it from the sports desk. Thanks so much for watching. But remember, CHAN, Eco, KBC, and tomorrow the action continues where Algeria will face South Africa. That's beginning at 5 p.m. East Africa time or Kenyan time. And then, of course, Guinea will be up against Uganda. Uganda coming into this wounded, having lost the opening match against the runners-up in last time's edition, Algeria. So will they make the home support count, or Guinea will hold them at home? How about South Africa and Algeria? Algeria against South Africa. South Africa beginning their quest in this particular contest or championship. O'Brien?
Very well. I think we are looking forward to how Harambee Stars is going to perform on Sunday. And I want you now to take us through some level of what we call scenarialization. When you look at the match on Sunday, I mean, we all know that Morocco is not here pushover. This is not your walkover kind of a game. If Harambee Stars wins the match on Sunday against Morocco, what does it mean in terms of qualifying for the next round?
Yes, indeed. If Harambee Stars wins the their third match, that means that they'll have 9 points, or rather 4 plus 3, they'll make 7 points. That means that would be enough to see them through to the next round, which is the round of 16. And all they need, actually, the permutations are that they just need a draw. That's a point from the remaining one match, you know,
so if they draw,
remaining 2 matches.
If they draw with
Morocco on Sunday, yes.
If they draw with Morocco, what is at stake?
What's at stake is a ticket to the round of 16. And if they draw against Morocco, then they'll have 1 foot in the round of 16. They'll be having just 1 match to go. That's on 17th against the final group game against Zambia.
If they lose to Morocco, what happens?
If they lose to Morocco, that will dim their chances, but not totally out, because now they'll have to rely on the results from the other teams.
From the other teams?
Yes. So
and we still have a... Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and we still have another match with Zambia. So if they were to lose the Moroccan game, but they win or they draw against Zambia, do we still stand any chance?
Yes, indeed. Mathematically, Kenya will be having another chance. They'll be having a chance to go through to the round of 16. What they need to do, just avoid defeat in the remaining 2 matches. And remember that across the 4 groups, that's Group A up to Group D, they are number 1 and 2, those who top the pools at the end of the group matches, they go automatically to the next round of 16. And then there'll be 2 other teams that will be picked, those who finish in 3rd position, but with good aggregate of points, they'll still have a ticket to go through to the round of 16. So Kenya's chances, especially after picking a point from this particular match, chances of going through to the round of 16 are high.
Wow. What would happen if they win this tournament?
Wow, it will be historic. It will be for the first time, and in fact, it will be the first nation ever to win the tournament on their debut. Remember, Kenya has never been here before. This is the first time.
This is the first time.
Courtesy of being the host. So, in the eight editions of this tournament that began in 2009, it will be historic for Kenya to win this particular tournament. And being at home, we can never rule that one out, and especially from today's performance. What did you make, especially playing 10 men for the better part of the match and still coming out with a positive result? So everything for Harambee Stars is possible in this tournament.
Wow. I mean, you can't get any other better analysis than what you're getting here on KBC, and thank you so very much indeed, Bernardo Kumu, for that analysis. And of course, we are here, we are watching all the matches, and we are hoping that we are going all the way through to the final. And the best thing that we can do is to pray on and, of course, cheer on our national team. And we also need to love our flag. It's very important. Well, O'Brien Kimani is my name. Thank you so very much indeed for joining us. You've been watching the Prime Edition. Remember, Chan, Iko KBC. Have yourself a good night.
Wakati inafika ana bleed. Sasa anasema sasa hizo juu imefika na huku ndani, sasa anaumwa hata na masikio. Headache, masikio.
Hii kesi iko hivi na anahitaji pesa za hospitali.
Lia katoto hakuna chakula ya ukura. Lia kana hakuna kuenda sambani. Hakuna hata urangeti. Akina nakaa huko kwa wao. Hata shughuli hakuna Mungu mmoja. Iko njaa. Inakaa nyumbani, naenda sambani, naenda sambani, iko mgonjwa. Akina teseka.